Okay, in this chapter, we're going to cover how to create the GSC files. First, find a directory. I'm using my Call of Duty main maps directory. I don't recommend to do it, especially if you're compiling maps and mix matching maps and trying to load them, because sometimes one map will load over another, or your GSC files will load over another. It'll create confusion, and you might think that the map you just compiled didn't have any changes to it. Use a different directory and create your PK3s and GSCs in a totally different directory. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at our maps MP folder. This is where you place your BSP, your GSC file, and your effects GSC. Now, remember when we created that effect and we gave it the effects ID of a Tiger Tank explosion? Well, this is where it's being called up at right here in our SD effects. You have your map name underscore effects.gsc. I'll this file is going to go with the tutorial, so don't freak out. You don't have to really write all this yourself. There's different effects you can use for the actual effects models, such as wood clothes, wood, dust, and dirt, things of that nature. Notice it's pre-cache. So what it's going to do is going to load this as soon as the map starts, and when the exploder kicks off, it'll just kick these off right away. I'll go ahead and close this out. Now don't forget, you've got to name it the same name as your map underscore effects.gsc. Okay, now our basic GSC file, the game script file, this is where you can set your fog, your ambient music for the background, um, your map name, the effects, which kicks off the effects GSC file, and who's the allies, who's the access, the type of soldiers, and at the bottom here is where we need to put in our attackers and our attackers and our defenders. It's pretty basic, simple, and self-explanatory. This tells the game who's who and what's what. You can simply swap these two around, and the axis are actually the attackers. Okay, once we got that covered, the next thing is going into our MP folder. I'm going to do that again. You have two folders you're going to create a PK3 with. One is going to be your maps, MP, your BSP, your GSC, and your FX GSC file go. The other one is just an MP folder with your map name .arena. Your map name .arena is where it tells the game what type of game type this map can run if and only if you have the proper spawn points and intermissions set in the actual map before you compile it. How this works is when you type in your map in the either the console or you're browsing for it, the map name, the map right here must match your actual .map file. This long name here is what shows up on your menu on your bottom right corner. You can name this whatever you want. It's still going to load this map. This should always match the map that the PK3 and the .map or the BSP go with. Now your game type here, this is, you have your basic deathmatch, your search and destroy. You could even put behind enemy lines or team deathmatch. However you have your map set up to do. Now once you have all these set, we go ahead and create the PK3. Okay, now let's just go ahead and create the PK3 file. Go ahead and highlight them, right click. I use WinZip. WinZip, it's pretty simple to use. You're going to add it to a zip file. You're going to use the evaluation version. If you're cheap enough like me, you can't afford to buy the real one. And we're going to go ahead and create it in our main maps folder. This is where I do it. I don't recommend to do it in the same folder. Do it in a totally different folder so you don't get confusion. For instance, you can name this dog.pk3. Go ahead and add it. If you look, it's right here. We'll go ahead and copy that, and we're going to go ahead and place it in our main folder. Now, if you have another copy of this in here somewhere, go ahead and remove it, because I'm telling you, it'll really freak you out, especially when you're working hard and trying to do something like creating search and destroy. When you have a messed up version of the BSP that didn't work proper, and you didn't remove it out of here or your maps folder, it just creates a headache. Once you get it in there, you can go ahead, start your multiplayer, make sure it's not a pure server, and the map should be located on the lower right corner once you select the proper game type. Okay, I just loaded it, and now I didn't put the great world spawn values in here. I just made it a blank world spawn value just to get the map loaded really quick. Notice on the bottom left we have our A and B's. These are what we designated the triggers and the origins as. Remember bomb zone A or B? And from here you can go ahead and set your bombs.